Bienvenidos al futuro. Un universo desgarrado cada vez más lleno de agujeros negros. Bienvenidos a Cuántica Rey. Una chupadita.
Hacia los agujeros, de vuelta a casa.
¡Cuidado! ¡Un agujero negro! ¡No está aquí!
Y ahora no consigo.
El universo está muriendo.
Sueños, me hablaste de una fiesta, una rave que nunca termina, una super mega party. Bueno, la DJ.
¿La terrorista?
Activista performance.
En mi nave no.
¿Dónde esconde la reliquia?
¡Qué botellín!
Estrella galaxia. ¡Malditos quacks!
¡Está perdiendo el control!
Estos tiempos más que nunca hay que creer en algo. En los Talabi, en el rock, en una mujer desnuda.
¿Qué has hecho ahora, Galilei?
¡Dios!
Dejémoslo en producto de tu imaginación.
Este mundo intentará domar tu corazón inquebrantable. Nunca, nunca permitas a nadie más tomar.
Welcome to Big Corp. I'm Dr. Warner. You've been chosen to join our AI family. You'll never feel alone again. You'll never feel pain. You'll only feel satisfaction in helping others.
You could have it all.
You and your ilk are a state, Remy.
You're disgusting.
Do it, Remy.
We're strong. We always have been.
Release all the pain.
We don't need them to tell us who we are.
Come this way, sir.
You'll never feel alone again.
I saw the blackness of space, and I saw the curvature of the earth, and how small it is, and how beautiful it is. And I was reminded more dramatically than ever how Earth is the only place we have to live.
As a child of the 70s, I was obsessed with NASA's moon missions. The LEM and the fictional Eagle were my favorite spaceships. For over 50 years, my dreams of living in space, in an amazing futuristic world, have never left me. So I decided to go on a journey to explore why.
Science fiction isn't about predicting the future. Science fiction is about inspiring the future.
Absolutely.
We make up stories to make people want to do things.
He's right. Sci-fi often drives innovation, and innovation can also drive science fiction. Astronauts are the ultimate innovators, including moonwalker Charles Duke. I learned all about his mission when he shared surprising personal insights.
Once we got into orbit, it was on the backside of the moon, and we came around from the front side, and there was Earthrise. And the first thought I had was, man, we're a long way from home. I hope this thing holds together.
Another astronaut who inspires me is Dr. Cyan Proctor, the first woman to pilot a commercial spacecraft. And like me, she was inspired by sci-fi.
To me, I had always wanted to be an explorer, right? As a kid. That's what an astronaut is. And so that idea of that I could one day like boldly go and find new interesting things, that just captivated me as a kid.
When I was young, my favorite TV show, Space 1999, featured a future that I wanted to grow up to live in. My sci-fi hero was a pilot named Alan Carter. He was played by actor Nick Tate.
how do you pretend to be an astronaut when you've never seen an astronaut doing it, you know?
Because you did great.
Yeah.
We all believed it.
I was hitting buttons. I know what the hell I was doing. I decided, people said, directors would say to me, where's the fulcrum of the fly push? And I'd say, oh, this is this one here, you know? It's like, do it with authority. Do it with authority, man. They'll all think he knows what he's doing.
Journey with me to the past to rediscover a better future in my new documentary, The Eagle Obsession.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening in internet land. My name is Troy Bernier, and I'm with the Miami International Science Fiction Film Festival. And tonight we have a special treat for you. What do you get when you put art? I'm talking about conventional art, like modern art, with science fiction. Well, you would get an artsy sci-fi. We do have those, right? Yeah. But this one has more of a twist of sort of like, what would it be like if you put Saturday Night Live mixed with sci-fi and AI? Now we're really jamming, right? So, yeah, we've got one of those this season. So we have an awesome film, another sci-fi, sort of like an AI with the chip in the brain type of thing, coming to us all the way from New York City. We have Mr. Joachim Jemegbe, who joins us all the way from New York, from the Bronx, mind you, the boogie down Bronx, that we call it. Very, very historic place in America. And he's going to tell us all about his film. But let's just start it off by saying just a little synopsis about the film. A man enrolls, well, let me get my thing here running, right? A man enrolls in a program that attempts to accelerate human learning through brain chip implant. But things take an interesting turn as he progresses on a journey of self-discovery and self-reflection. Emergence is a film that explores the intersectionality of human ingenuity and human recklessness with technology. Ooh, that sounds like a sweet one there. So let's bring them on, and we're going to get to the nuts and bolts of this. Good evening, Joachim. How are you?
Good evening. I'm doing quite well. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I hope I pronounced the name properly. It was a little bit of a tongue twister at first for me.
Yeah, you're in the top 80% when it comes to pronunciation there. So
sweet. Okay. I did make one mistake by initially saying that the gentleman was from Brooklyn, and I was quickly corrected.
Yeah, big difference.
Awesome. So just real quick to also mention, just in case I may have forgotten, there is a way for you to push this feed out to other people in your social media platform.
Okay.
There's a button for that to do that. So, you know, we got some time today because we have this is scheduled for a few people, but it doesn't seem like anybody else is joining us tonight. So that's okay. So that gives us more time to have fun here. So tell me a bit about what motivated you to make Emergence. Where the title come from, and what motivated you to write this story?
It's quite a funny story, actually. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's December 2023. My best friend, his name is Josh, big sci-fi guy like me, right? He calls me on the phone. He's freaking out. Okay, he's like, dude, I'm so scared. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I think that Sam Altman is being controlled. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I think Sam Altman is being controlled by an AGI. I'm like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. And he goes into this entire conspiracy theory thing. I started thinking, I'm like, hang on a second. So if an AGI did exist, maybe the first thing it's gonna do is convince the entire world that it doesn't exist. Right.
Ooh.
So what if an AGI existed and is already controlling, like pulling the strings behind OpenAI, right?
Right.
So that was kind of like the inception of the idea to come up with Emergence. Obviously, the story is a little bit different. But also I'm a dancer, right?
Right.
I'm a dancer. I'm a dance instructor. I'm a professional dancer in New York City. So I wanted to find a way to combine these two things together, combining sci-fi with dance, and that's how the story came to be. I was also heavily inspired by the sci-fi TV show Severance. So that gave me the bridge between imagine the story of an AGI
Right.
and how that intersects with Neuralink, right?
Right. Neuralink is the name of the one that
Elon
people are
Musk.
using. Yeah.
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 Mhm.
Yeah.
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 So it's a very very realistic scientific theory out there. More of a it's more of a theory than a hypothesis that when you think about something, an activity, even if you're not doing the activity, your brain does have a neural reaction to it, right? There's this neural connection when you imagine you are bench pressing, for example, right? Your brain does create activity as if you were actually bench pressing. Obviously,
Right.
the effects are different because you are not
Right.
actually bench pressing. So
Right.
the idea was if you could stimulate the brain to make it truly believe that it was doing something, like when you're learning a language, or learning a language while you're asleep, will you be able to wake up and know and speak the language with that neural connection still be there?
Right.
Was kind
Right.
of that's the premise of what the film is predicated on to create the story. Yeah.
That's what we call cerebral. It's a level of complication that goes beyond the norm, and it requires people to really think deeply about what's going on here. And I think that's a good step. I like that. I like that.
Thank you.
Really good. How has the reception been with the film so far at other festivals or and so forth, other screenings?
So it's been a smashing success, to be honest. I've had
Okay.
two private screenings. Each time, everyone really enjoyed it. In fact, the biggest critique was that it wasn't long enough. They're always like, "Oh man, you could have done a lot. You could have increased this. You could have done more with the story." And I was like, "Yeah, but I wanted to keep it. It's my first professional film." And the second critique was just about character development. I didn't. This is more of a plot-driven movie than a character-driven movie. So
Right.
people were really thirsty for the motivations behind certain personalities of certain characters in the
Sure.
film.
Sure.
So I'll say those are two things. I haven't applied to too many festivals. I think majority of the festivals I'm still waiting to hear back because I started applying. The notification date is like February, March, April.
Okay.
So I haven't
Yeah.
heard back.
Yeah.
But I did apply to a few last year. A couple of small ones I got into. They accepted me. It was like monthly festivals. It's very interesting. One of the
Mhm.
film festivals I got nominated for. I was runner up for like best sci-fi, but I won best musical. It was kind of funny. Um, it's
Right.
yeah, because my movie is a unique movie. It's a genre bender. There aren't as many sci-fi movies that I know of that have that much music and dance in it.
Yeah, performance in it. Only
Yeah,
music videos typically do.
right.
This year we do have Quantum Rave, which has a performance. You'll be at the festival, so you're gonna get a chance to see it.
Yeah, I think I saw the
I,
trailer.
yeah, it played
Yeah.
at the opening, and the musical performance throughout the film. It's a
Wow,
feature. Yeah, it's a musical performance throughout. Very, very good. I think you're gonna really appreciate it.
that's awesome.
But yeah, I understand where you're coming from. And it is a level of unique. Every year or so, we get films that have dance performances in the story. Which is a nice treat, I think. With you, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's dance art. You're a professional dancer, right?
Mhm. That's right.
So, what would that fall in the category? You got to help me. Is that considered modern dance? What are we talking about?
Oh, the dance styles. I'm a professional Latin dancer, so like salsa, bachata, other Latin based dances. But I'm
Mhm.
originally from Nigeria, so I also dance like Afro beats and all these styles.
Beautiful.
So
Yes.
the unique thing about my film is it brings in distinct dance styles at different points of the movie to push the story, right?
Mhm, mhm.
There's a reason why the Afro beats performance is where in a specific part of the film There's a reason why the sensual bachata dance performance is in a particular part of the film.
Mhm.
You know, it's used to like tell the story, make it unravel, you know, flow smoothly, and guide the plot, you know. And so that's basically what I was trying to do with this.
Well, I'm sure your calendar is quite busy when you have these dancing events. Because you know, hey man, you know, some people love to dance. Some people love to dance, and it kind of commands. It's another form of communication.
That's right.
People are dancing together. I think so.
Yeah, I think you touched on a very important point there. I think sometimes when when it comes to film, when it comes to storytelling, I really was leaning into making this point that you can have a dialogue just with the bodies, right?
Yes.
Especially in a partner dancing, you see, you know, you don't a woman doesn't have to say A B C X Y Z to seduce a man and vice versa. When you're dancing, right? It's just like the way the bodies move, and you just, as the audience, you just know, like, okay, I know what's happening here, you know, and it's even more beautiful, you know. So like, you know, stuff like that.
Yes. Absolutely. That's awesome. So can we take a look at the trailer?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Let's do that. Here we go.
You learned all of that in just 4 weeks. And only while you were asleep?
You finally created the first ever conscious sentient AGI.
I did it, guys.
So, I know you guys think you're doing something good. Maybe you are, but I don't trust that thing.
Over a dozen citizens are now reporting lucid dreams as a side effect of their cerebral link chip implant.
Just get me CISA on the line right now. This thing is an existential threat level situation.
You don't want to blow it out of proportion.
I think millions of lines of code gushing out of your ass can't replace a couple solid brain cells that tell me that this is something dangerous. This is not the end of the audit. And we'll be in touch.
Boy, that was a good trailer, man.
Yeah.
Well done. Yes. Had a nice spin to it. Keeps it going, and then you have that cliffhanger in the end. Very good. Very good. Job well done. And you know, we were talking earlier back in the green room, and a lot of the conversation yesterday with some of the other filmmakers was about deliverables. You know, how you package your project when you submit the Film Freeway. I've never really been on the other side for Film Freeway as far as submitting. I've been on, you know, we submitted to festivals before Film Freeway was the thing. You know, it was with Gold Without a Box, and it was very, very difficult to put all your stuff together, get it on without a box. It was a challenge. Film Freeway made it so easy to submit to festivals. But even with that said, a lot of the folks don't know how to submit to a festival, right? You have to have, regardless, you have to, unless you have a film that's 5 minutes long or less, right? You have to have trailer. Trailer needs to be, you know, ideally less than a minute long, more than 30 seconds. Typically, because people need to get an idea of what it's about, what the feel is. They have to. It really will elevate the chances that people will watch it. People are going to enjoy it. It's going to create a positive reaction. 2, have to have a poster. Your poster, right? That's not too much to ask for. You know, edit, because you still have to edit the film, so edit something that, you know, and a poster. Yeah, that may take a little bit of effort. Don't just get a screenshot of some scene in the film and put a title on it. Okay, you know, a little, you know, invest in these things because that's what sells the film. That's what sells the film. Now, of course, you as the filmmaker could be the one to do all of this, and that would be fine. However, when you have someone that does that, all they do is edit. Their job is to edit a film, dude. Someone who edits a trailer is gonna, if they edit trailers. I know people. That's all they do, edit trailers. That's gonna be a much different piece than if you do it.
Yeah,
I guarantee it. Number two, with the poster, it's great if a filmmaker does it. Nothing wrong with that, as long as they follow the basics and get it going. Looks okay, but it does matter. It does matter where it's catchy. It grabs the person. It does matter, And with us, with MiSciFi, because we're not really sticklers with that, but with MiSciFi, we want people to put the credits of the films. Okay, we want the credits of who was in the film, who helped make the film, all the technical stuff. Of course, we know we don't expect 100 names to be there, but if there was 10 people on the set that were involved, we think that's important, because if the film is nominated, which at MiSciFi, 9 out of 10 films that are in the physical selection of the festival.
Oh, I think you're on mute.
What that means is, a lot of the films are nominated, right? They're not all nominated for the same thing. MiSciFi, we've got, last I checked, we have somewhere between 20, 30 awards easily. Could be 40 types of awards, because we also give awards on the technicals, not just a general actor, cinematography, best film. We give awards on director, sound, visual effects, color grading, wardrobe, costume. There's a difference between wardrobe and costume, So that means we want to know who's involved in this, because in a lot of film festivals, a lot of short films or feature films, they may not have these big budgets, but they still have a lot of people that help build the uniforms, did the casting, put in effort on the lighting because the way you're shooting the film, these kinds of things. So it matters, and it matters especially to us, So, and there are a few other little knickknacks out there too, but it just amazes me how length of the film, which is such it's a commandment. It's like a commandment. And the majority of filmmakers have a hard time understanding. And usually it's because they are the ones that edited their own. They're not going to allow. as one of the people used to always bug me about, their role in a film, and they said, "Oh, my scene ended up on the editing room floor."
It's funny, yeah.
And emotional. It's crazy, So, but yeah, and that's why one reason why I mentioned this, people, when it comes to and I got to let you do some of the talking, not me, but that's why I mentioned to people that do realize that you could sell your film multiple times. And I use Alien as a great example, or Blade Runner. Blade Runner has at least 3 different versions of it. So do Star Wars or Indiana Jones. There's the theatrical version, there's an extended version, then there's a director's cut. So do realize with your film, anybody has a film, there's the version that the director wants, or whoever owns it, right? But then there's a version that needs to get into the festivals. So you could have a 2.5 hour long film. It's very unlikely that's going to get into in most festivals. However, you can find a way to bring it down less than 2 hours, and I bet you it'll get into a festival, opposed to that 2.5 hour film. You're not Marvel, right? So
yeah,
it's not the same set of mechanics. Not the same set of mechanics. But tell me a little bit more about the casting process, about some of the roles that you decided to have or not have.
So sure, the casting process was very interesting. I I wanted this to be a predominantly black cast, just because I wanted to give more publicity, more avenues for black actors to be able to like showcase their talent. But I couldn't find as many black actors as I needed, so it's fun. It's funny
In the
you guys
Bronx? Okay.
in all of New York
All of New
because
York at that. Holy
yeah.
smoke.
So
Okay.
actually, the casting was through. I didn't go through like a standard casting system. I just like went through friends of
Right.
friends, basically.
Right.
But I had these amazing actors, and they weren't black. A couple of them, and the name is funny. So the one of the characters, the guy in the suits, his name is actually Nigerian. It's a Nigerian name, Remy.
Mm.
His character,
Remy.
yeah, because it comes from Aderemi, which is a
Mhm.
Yoruba name. But he's this white guy, so it's funny. Most people don't know that, and you wouldn't even catch it until I told you
Right.
about it. Yeah.
Wow.
And so he is just like such a phenomenal actor. And when I met him, he's just like he's a teacher at a college here, as like a professor,
Mhm.
and he's very like quiet. But then the moment we were doing the reading, this is just like the read through, and he was just on point. I was just like, man, I need to cast this guy, And same thing with the lady. The difficulty in casting a movie like this is you want to find somebody who is an actor but also a dancer, right, for some of the roles. And there were lots of women who were, lots of people who were good actors, but they weren't good dancers. Lots of people who were good dancers, they weren't good actors. So, you can't, you gotta cut your losses or count your losses, what they say. But that was part of the casting process. The pre-production was very seamless. Honestly, everyone was just so fun to work with. The DP and his
Mhm.
team. Yeah, he was just a phenomenal guy.
Yeah, you actually have a very long list of credits.
Yeah, so the DP came. Yeah, he came with one other person, like one or two other people. I can't remember. But he, we didn't storyboard for this. I didn't even know what storyboarding was, to be honest. So we didn't storyboard for this. I just went like word vomit in his ear and sent him a bunch of like videos. I sent him what I needed, what I was trying to do as a director, and he picked up on it and he was like, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Good.
And so he was on point about that, lighting, setup, all those things. And we also improved a lot. There were lots of things we wanted to do. For example, when it comes to like makeup, as you said, I was looking for a scar, right? When somebody gets an implant or there's an incision in the head to put like a chip inside, it has to be a scar, right?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
I was able to find the only makeup artists I could find. They could only make trauma-based scars. They didn't know how to make like clinical, surgical, incision-based scars that I could put for my character. So
Right.
I had to scrap that idea, and then because the way I was going to shoot a specific scene where you saw the scar, so I had
Sure.
to scrap all of that and then think about where to reshoot that entire scene. So a lot of things I did on the fly like that. But overall, just a seamless process. Post production took 2 times almost 3 times as long as the pre production.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I had a sound editor and sound design
Good.
was sound design was very important to me. Absolutely important. It's like like 40% of the thing, to be honest, because it's sci-fi. It's not just. I mean, in any film, yes, but when you're talking about sci-fi, you're talking about you need to let the audience know that this is a sci-fi film, right? So
Mhm.
I let him cook. I let the sound designer cook, and he cooked, and he cooked real good. And you can tell from when you watch the movie, there's so many things you wouldn't know. He added like additional sounds for like the mundane stuff that you see in the film, but he also
Sure.
added the
Sure.
futuristic design and
Sure.
things like that. So
Sure.
and then speaking with the owners of the songs and getting your permission to use the songs in the film was
Yeah.
something as well. And then yeah, so everything came together. And then the color grader was like probably like the best color grader I've ever worked with, period. He knew exactly what I wanted. And I remember watching the film without color grading, and I was like, wow, this is really beautiful. Then I saw the movie color graded, and then I saw it again not color graded. I'm like, wow, there's such a like the movie not
Night,
color graded is crap. Because like
night
it
and
was
day,
so,
right? Night and
yeah,
day.
night
It
and
was
day,
crisp. Crisp.
crisp.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, so all those things came together in such a beautiful way. and I'm just really proud of my team, to be honest. It's a team effort, and it's been a miracle how everything came together.
Do you know what kind of color grading software was used?
Yeah. What's the other one? I'm blanking out on the name. It's the one that lots of people use when they're editing. What's it called? Give me 1 second. It's called
So it's with a D.
Yes.
DaVinci.
DaVinci Resolve, yeah.
DaVinci Resolve. That's a
Yeah.
very good program.
Yeah. Yeah, he did so many good things with it. Things I never imagined were
So
possible.
so let me ask you this: what here's one of the scenes from the film, and you can see the colors. See how nice the colors. Of course, everything's kind of getting saturated with the neon light, but because of both of your her reddish hair, your skin tone, it
Yeah.
actually reflects quite nicely off that. It sends
Yes.
another. It's playing with the spectrum,
That's
and
right.
Da Vinci is able to, you're able to subset those colors into another palette, and
That's right.
so as a result, the cinematography looks great. Looks
Thank
great.
you. Thank you. Yeah, it was this specific scene too was, it was interesting. I don't know if you're aware of this, but the scene where my character and her character were wearing red, and now she's wearing black and my character is wearing gray. It's the same location, but the lighting, but the color grading was so good. And the lighting was everything worked out so well. You might think it looks like it looks like we changed location, even though it's the same location. It's like a little
Well,
bit
let
like we
me let
changed.
me ask you a question. Do you remember the film? I'm sorry. Do you remember the camera?
Oh yeah, it's
Is it
no no no
6K? Is it
no
6K?
no, it was like a Canon. It was like a Canon. Uh, let me text my let me just pull it from the thread with my DP. Um,
Sometimes it says
search.
it. Sometimes it says it in the specifications. No.
Yeah, let me see. Oh, I can't find it right now. But let me see. I know it's like we used two cameras. So
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah, so whenever we're talking in the movie where you had that screenshot just now, that was
Mhm.
one camera, and then when we're dancing, it was a smaller camera because it
Mhm.
was more dynamic. Where he was panning around with the smaller camera while we're dancing, but then when we're doing the conversation, it was with the stand was static, and he set it up. So one is called an R6, one is called R6 something. Second one
It
is yeah.
was R6 Canon.
Yeah, R6 Canon, and then the second that's a smaller one. Um, I think I can pull it up from here. Give me 1 second.
I'm just curious if it was like a 6K, a
I
6K
don't.
camera or 4K.
Yeah, I'm skeptical that it's a 6K camera just because. Let's
And there's
see.
a reason why I asked that. So the reason why is depending on how it's shot,
Hmm.
um, the way it collects its information, that allows you to be able to pick apart. You're able to have a very large palette and subset the colors,
Oh.
and
Oh.
and be able to use the Da Vinci to its potential
I see what you're saying. Okay.
by doing
Okay.
that. So in other words, there's certain, so you can define, well, we're only going to use these colors in the palette,
Gotcha.
right? And
Yeah.
so that takes out, so when it comes to certain dark colors, like when there's clothes or shadows,
Mhm.
things like that, you're able to bring that out so
I
people
see.
can see that versus oversaturating reflections on skin
Okay. I see
or
what you're
light
saying.
or light. So you're able to provide more balance. You're able to rebalance and equalize the color levels.
I think you actually mentioned that now that you say
Yeah.
that. The first camera is a Varicam LT, and then the second one was a Canon R5C.
And you have to be careful too, because when I see very cam, I don't see
LT. Yeah.
very cam LT. The reason why is that when you're using um, different cameras, that could cause problems.
Yep.
A lot of problems. So because your balance, your color palette is not going to be the same between shots because of those different cameras.
Yeah,
So,
actually, yeah, you're right.
The work has to go in to force them to be balanced.
Yeah, you're totally right there. I only noticed that after the fact. This was pre-color grading when I received the videos, the raw files and post. I looked at it. I was like, okay. How it looks on the Varicam is way. The color doesn't match how it looks in the R5 Canon. So I told the DP, and it was like, no, it's okay. Like when the color grader knows what to do with it once it gets.
So to give you an example, this scene here, I would say, and Chris answer the question for me. But this scene and this scene is shot with different cameras.
Which one? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. This scene here and this scene are shot with different cameras.
1 second. It's still loading for me. Sorry.
Oh.
Still loading.
Really? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a lag. Just when you load. Okay, I see. Yeah. I see the one in the courtyard and.
Yeah, and this one here is shot with different cameras. There's different cameras, different lenses.
Yeah.
Okay. Shot with different cameras, different lenses, because look how everything is somewhat flat and even.
Yeah.
Right. This one here, it's a little bit distorted.
Yeah.
And it's distorted because of the lens and the focal length. It's distorted a little bit. The outside, this is almost like it's shot with a wider angle lens.
Yeah, that's right.
Than this scene.
That's right.
This is shot probably with the Canon, and this is shot with whatever that other camera is.
Yeah,
I know my Canon because I have one.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Good, yeah, good eyes. Yeah, we really love this. This was probably like one of my favorite shots of the entire film. We were looking for a good place. This was improv. We didn't plan this. We're looking for a good place to shoot him on the cell phone there, and
right.
We only found that place we just like said let's set it up and did it. And it was just great composition.
This shot here, this shot here, is shot with the same camera as this.
Yeah, the Varicam. Yeah, that's right.
I would not be surprised. This one here is shot with this camera.
Yep, that's right. Varicam.
No, this is the Canon.
Oh, sorry. This R6.
This is a Canon.
R5 Canon. Yeah,
the Canon. You could double check. Let me know.
Yeah, I'll be curious to know. Yeah, I'll be curious to know. I'm gonna check for sure.
Yeah, because the Canon has a great wide angle ability.
Yeah,
when you're close enough. It has a really good wide angle, depending on what you put on it, what kind of lens you put on it. It has a really good capability of having a wide angle without distortion. This is a wide angle without distortion.
Got you.
There's some distortion going on there. There's some distortion going on there. This flat looks great. Only issue you have with this scene is on this side. On this side here, it's a little bit out of focus. Little bit out of focus
here. Yeah.
What made that?
This?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw like I went to an app. I went to I can't remember but I was looking for different types of glowing orbs. So I found this one. I was like, oh man, this is great to use.
This is supposed to be the AI entity.
Yeah, the AGI.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. Something that I struggle with here was when you're telling a sci-fi story, you don't know 100% who your audience is. Your audience might be folks who are like heavy on the science, right? They're deep into they understand the inner workings. Others don't. So I had to find a balance between knowing how to explain what certain things. For example, an AI and an AGI are two very different things, right? An AI is an AI. And AGI is, an AI that's more intelligent than a human being, right? And supposedly has sentience as well, right? That's an entirely different thing. Now we're talking like, Terminator or whatever, hive mind, whatever thing. But people don't. If you just say AGI without saying exactly what it is, then people would not have any context as to the stake in what's going on. Why are we? What is this arms race against China and Russia in terms of AI development, right? And creating an AGI. So I think I have to find a healthy balance there without being too scientific.
Yeah, well, if you feed I think it's a little amusing and this is nothing about what you said, but just the whole concept of having AI, having AGI, whatever they want to call it. But if your intention is to have this, and if someone, just say hypothetically, a country says, we're going to have the AI run the country. So it has to have access to all the country's data, right? At least all the macro level data. And when you do this, it's going to give you recommendations. Are you going to follow it? So it's going to do the best it can, unless it's trained and provided a goal which is detrimental to parts of the country and betterment for other parts of the country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it's two large countries, right? Two large countries, and one says we're going to get AI to run our country the best and turn it into the most efficient, productive engine out there, right? And then you have another country says, well, we're going to get AI and we only want some people to do well and others to not perform as well, not to have the same benefits. That's a great way to put it. Which country do you think is going to eventually outdo the other one?
It's a very good question. I mean, obviously the first one is going to be better because it wants everyone to do well.
So
yeah, it's really where we are. One quick second. I have a point. I have a point I want to make, but let me quickly switch something off. I have something on the fire real quick. I'll be right back.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, don't burn up the food now. We'll put on a trailer.
Can I please have a bite of your burrito?
All right. That made a nice little intermission there.
Yeah, that was a good trailer. It's interesting.
Yeah,
is that
that's
also going to be played at the festival?
Yeah, that's Happily Never After, and Miss Tamara Hernandez will be at the festival.
That's amazing. Yeah. I was gonna say I think we're in a very interesting place now. And what I was trying to do with this, right? The question is, if we continue to advance in technology but not morality, where does that leave us? And however we train the AI, as you had mentioned earlier, if we train it to favor some people over others, is going to do that. It's going to do that very efficiently, right? So what I did was, in my movie, I put in this idea, right? Assuming that the AI is sentient, right? This AI is aware, it's intelligent, it's self-aware, and it looks at human beings, right? It looks at us and how we treat each other. What is it going to think? And it's an open-ended question, right? It's an open-ended question.
Yep.
So that's basically where we are.
Yep. Yep. So really good points. I think that your film, I think originally your film was a little on the longer side, and you did some re-editing and stuff like that. But what do you plan to have a feature version of this? If you do, it's very hard to go back and shoot more scenes. It actually would cost quite a bit to replicate everything to make it look exactly like the other film, the main body film. But is that something that you're thinking about doing, or what are the plans?
Very good question. So I have a script I'm writing for the sequel continuation. And what this does is it my movie ends in a cliffhanger.
Right. Don't tell everybody.
Oh, sorry. But my movie ends with you wanting more, right? And so what I'm hoping to do is create a sequel that gives context to the first one, right? Why do the characters act the way they do? Why do they have certain beliefs? Why do they, what's the motivation behind some of their actions?
Right.
But also, it drives the plot forward. Okay, now we have this situation at the end of my movie, right? What becomes of that, right? There is, because it's as much a movie that follows an individual as it is a geopolitical movie, right?
Mhm.
There's an arms race going on in real life. There really is an arms race going on, right? We're going to the moon again, right? In February, but we're not. Why all of a sudden are we going to the moon now? Well, because China is planning to get there 2030.
They've already been there, but go on.
They're trying to drop. I think they're trying to drop. They want to like literally like stay, like land on the moon, and they have this like project.
Put a base. They want to put a base.
Yeah, put a base there. Yeah. That's why now we're like, oh, we gotta. So Neil deGrasse Tyson had touched on this point. He said that before. So I think it's a similar thing in my film. Is geopolitical. So what are the consequences of whatever happened at the end of my film? Where does that leave us? And I think that's going to be very, very interesting. Especially in the world of espionage.
So
right.
That it is. Today we actually landed a rover on the moon. But
Nice.
it wasn't a government NASA project. It's a private company that did it, that was funded by NASA.
Oh.
Yeah, they gave them money. NASA gave them money, and today they landed something, a probe on the moon and they landed on a very different part of the moon. They landed in the northern hemisphere, on a very large, next to an anomaly sticking out of the ground, which could be the top of a mountain that's surrounded by, a hardened basaltic plain from a previous impact.
Wow.
Why they went there is a mystery to me. I don't know that much about the northern hemisphere of the moon. The southern hemisphere of the moon has been the area of interest, because in the southern hemisphere there's appears to be quite a many different types of minerals there, but more importantly, there's an opinion that there's probably a lot of water in the southern hemisphere of the moon, and that would be in the shadows. In the shadows, which don't change, there would be water, frozen water ice. Water ice would be there, and if there is, it's a lot. So it's a great place to get water and to create oxygen, because the water would be an oxygen source, as well as used for processing and consumption for the people that decide to be on Mars. I'm sorry, on the moon. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be like it's gonna be like that show, The Expanse, when Luna. You've seen The Expanse?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's gonna be like Luna. Because we have water and we have oxygen, then we just like colonize the moon. It'd be nice.
Yeah, there are many minerals on the moon. I haven't detected any phosphorus. Phosphorus would be the game changer.
How so?
Because that's fertilizer.
Oh,
you can use it to grow food. That's it's a highly limited, highly limited agent on Earth.
Yeah.
But on the moon, if we find it, then that would be one less thing to bring. One less thing to bring. And I'm talking about growing, just growing foods that we would normally grow. You would have to it would be a challenge in its own way because it's in a low G environment, but it's one step closer to it happening.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Mhm. So, I kudos to you for being an Expanse viewer. I think that's
Oh, thank
very,
you.
very important for science fiction.
Yeah, I
So,
think it changed the Expanse changed my life as far as like
yeah.
even in filmmaking.
So, what's next for you?
Do you mean like career wise, or you mean like
after this film?
Yeah, after this film, what I'm hoping to do is I want to spend this year really just promoting this film,
Mhm.
and I want to get as much connections as I can with the
Mhm.
right people, so
Mhm.
that I can continue making it. So I want one of two things: either somebody says, "Hey, look, I really love what you did here. If you want to make a sequel, I can sponsor that, and we'll make it like a full film.
Right.
If you want to redo the entire thing and put the script for the first part and the script for the second together, like make it one full film, like, and I'm willing to support that, like 100%. I'm willing to do that because I've spoken with the actors and they're on board for like to keep working with me for the rest.
Okay, that's a good position to be in. Okay.
Yeah. And then, even if I don't get that'll be ideal for me. But even if I don't get that, to be able to have somebody say, "Hey, look, I really love what you did there. Do you want to come direct this movie? Here's the script.
Sure.
This is this, I stuff like that." That's kind of like what I'm looking for. Because I'm more of a director than an actor, although I do both. I direct, act, and edit, but directing is like my main thing because I have the vision and I see things that most people don't see. So that's ideally what I want to do.
Okay.
So making sure I have a good festival around this, and even if it's not festivals, even if I don't get into a lot of festivals, the accolades are only a part of the entire picture, right? To be able to like screen my movie anywhere and have an ovation each time, like, and have friends say, "Listen, this is the best film I've seen, like in this year or whatever."
Right. Right.
Like that's like that's a really huge achievement for me. So
Right. Right.
getting it from the right eyes is what I'm trying to do now.
Okay. Well, remember the deliverables play a role in that, and finding festivals that play your style of film that matters. So you've got to, you find their web pages, and they'll have photos of what their event last year looks like. That's a really good position. So take advantage of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, that takes us to the end here. We've been talking for almost an hour, so I think we've covered a lot. You've got a really good film, and here's what you should think about. You do have dance performance in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Does that have any potential to be a music video?
Like for like a professional artist to say, "Hey, you want to make a music video or something like that?"
It can that be edited into a separate music video?
Yes, it can, for sure.
Now you got another piece.
Nice. How long are music videos usually? Like
3.5 minutes.
Okay, so that works. Okay.
3.5 minutes. You can get by with 3.5 minute music video. We have them.
Okay.
We have them this season. We have about 5 music videos this year.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that insight.
No, you're very welcome. All right, so if that's it for the evening, that'll be it actually for the run for the night. And with that said, we're just gonna close out. We're gonna just close out with a little piece here from Encyclopedia Galactica. So stand by, okay?
Sure.
This is a message from a small, distant world.